beef fat on your face? It's the latest skincare craze on social media, and yes, we're talking about beef tallow, traditionally used for deep frying French fries and making soaps. From the butcher shop to your beauty care routine, beef tallow is the latest skincare trend to take over social media.
Tallow is beef fat.
Beef tallow is the only thing that I put on my face as skincare, moisturizer, everything.
The reason why it trends is because it's amazing.
So when I first heard people were putting this on their face, I thought, what are these melanin deficient people doing? And then I tried it myself. I caved, I gave in, and my skin has never looked any better.
And that's because this is what they use. This is literally Mother Nature's moisturizer, okay? And I'm not just saying that. It is 100% natural. There's no chemicals, no free radicals. Cultures have been using this for centuries.
You can't eat your skincare products. Why would you put it on your face?
Yes, it is what I use to go from this to this in just about a month.
And my skin has not looked better.
Rubbing beef tallow on your skin has been blowing up recently. People are saying it's better than regular skincare, even better than expensive skin creams.
I wish it wasn't true, but it is.
I swear the skincare industry is gonna come after me because all I use on my skin is beef fat.
You see, our cell membranes are made up of mostly fatty acids, with at least 50% coming from saturated fats. Tallow has a very similar makeup, which makes it incredibly compatible with our cell biology.
And at first, this might seem really strange to rub beef fat onto your skin. This might seem like a sudden new trend, but the reality is, putting beef tallow on your skin goes back hundreds and thousands of years. And by the end of this video, you're gonna realize that maybe rubbing beef fat may actually not be as weird as you think. That maybe it actually makes more sense compared to rubbing the toxic modern-day concoctions onto your skin that are filled with dangerous, cheap chemicals. We're talking about chemicals like Propylparaben, an ingredient that may speed up the development of skin tumors and lesions that is found in these popular products. Or phthalates, which also get absorbed into your skin and disrupt your hormones, like in Burt's Bees glowing body oil. We could go on and on about all the dangerous chemicals in skincare, but the bottom line is, these mega conglomerates are raking in billions from us rubbing these plastic chemicals onto our skin. $24.35 billion a year, to be exact, of your hard-earned money.
People have 10, 12-step skincare routines, which they're doing, spending a lot of money on dozens of different products in your skincare routine, and us now, bullying our skin with all of these various products, that's disrupting the natural skin microbiome.
When in reality, Mother Nature had already provided us with the perfect moisturizer, beef tallow. Beef tallow is literally just beef fat. So, see that white stuff? That's all it is. No chemicals. And using this natural moisturizer goes all the way back to ancient Egypt. In the time of ancient Egypt, there were no industrial seed oils, there were no petroleum byproducts, and there definitely weren't any phthalates. The ancient Egyptians were using ingredients like honey and tallow as skincare because that's all they had. They used it as a natural sunscreen, as a healing salve, and even to embalm people when they died. And they weren't the only civilization doing this. Literally every major ancient civilization used animal fat or tallow daily. Ancient Mesopotamians would mix ash with sheep and cow's tallow to make an all-natural moisturizing soap. And the ancient Romans and Greeks did something similar. The Romans and Greeks would gather in these huge bathhouses and clean themselves using natural soaps and lotions. And guess what these soaps and lotions were made of? Not seed oils, not petroleum, but natural ingredients like olive oil and tallow. Tallow was even used to heal the wounds of soldiers during their many wars. And even people who were far removed from higher class civilization were drawn to using tallow on their skin. Australian Aboriginal tribes used emu oil, which is fat from the emu bird, to protect their skin from the sun and to heal wounds, while Native Americans used tallow on their skin as a protective barrier from insect bites. Tallow was the go-to ingredient for skincare and was used around the world. Later on, these ancients would be proven right. As it turns out, the oils in beef tallow are similar to the natural oils made by our own skin, so it really absorbs right in.
When I use regular over-the-counter lotions, either for my face or for my hands, I feel like I'm just topping it off, but it's not actually penetrating the skin. And with this tallow, when I'm putting on, for instance, this whipped balm, the pumpkin spice kind, I feel like it actually gets into the skin and really does help with my redness, with my dryness.
Tallow also happens to be naturally high in vitamins A, which is a form of retinol, D, E, choline, and fatty acids, which absorb deep into the skin barrier and actually nourish the skin from within. And this tradition continued into the Middle Ages. It was a fuel for lamps and torches. It protected your skin from the cold. It was a key ingredient in candle making. And yes, people even ate it. And as society progressed into the Victorian period, people still prized tallow. The streetlights were lit with tallow candles, which were known to burn longer than the regular beeswax ones. And in the shops were fancy Windsor soaps made from animal fat and olive oil. We've been using tallow for centuries, and there's pretty much no time in human history when we didn't use it. But of course, as villages started to expand into cities and the world opened to trade, people started to get greedy, and tallow was about to get kicked out. Tallow was great and all, but why make soap and skin creams out of tallow, which takes a ton of effort to produce, when you can make those same skincare products out of vegetable oils? And why make candles from tallow and beeswax when you can make them out of paraffin wax, a cheap byproduct of petroleum? The answer was obvious. During the 1800s and early 1900s, companies started to slowly replace the tallow in their skincare products for cheap synthetic ingredients. Ingredients like mineral oil, PEGs, sodium lauryl sulfate, soybean oil, and polyethylene glycol, all made from the industrial waste of animal feed and petroleum manufacturing. Perfect. And from there, hundreds of new skincare products were invented. Things like cold creams, serums, toners, makeup removers, scrubs, and body lotions. Because now that we have an endless supply of petroleum and seed oils, everyone can live in luxury. Everyone can afford a fancy 3-step skincare system from Estee Lauder. And everyone can afford a nice, moisturizing bar of Dove soap made with palm oil. Sure, it's not really luxury, it's actually the literal opposite of luxury and is made from industrial waste, but it definitely looks fancy in the ads, and it definitely feels luxurious when you spread it on your skin. So surely this $200 face cream is good for us?
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I know it can be challenging, but I'm deeper than what you see. I'm craving something we're missing, the ceramides in CeraVe.
Retinol, ceramides, vitamin C, and hyaluronic acid. Modern skincare is full of these ingredients that are quote-unquote backed by science. When you buy a retinol cream or a vitamin C serum at the drugstore, there's almost no active ingredients in the bottle. Yeah, it's not nearly enough to make an actual change in your skin. You'll need to get a doctor-prescribed retinol cream to actually see a difference. And actives like hyaluronic acid, which is supposed to literally plump up the skin from within, doesn't even penetrate the skin barrier. It just sits on top of the skin, making it look more shiny and plump. The commercials say otherwise, but nowhere has it ever been proven that hyaluronic acid actually penetrates the skin. All of these expensive, science-backed skincare products say that their products will transform your skin from within. But all they really do is give your skin the appearance of being healthy, while exposing you to hormone disruptors like parabens and phthalates, and carcinogens like formaldehyde and benzene.
The thing is, companies make much more money from convincing you that you need all these different products, and that if you want to look youthful, you have to keep spending to get the latest one.
We've become so hypnotized by all that fancy marketing that we've totally forgotten our roots. what do you trust more? A skincare product that's been around for 50 years, or a product that goes back centuries? And this is why tallow is making a comeback. Go on TikTok or Instagram right now, and you'll see tons of people saying that their skin has transformed after replacing their toxic skincare with a simple jar of tallow balm.
My skin looked like this and like this. I was eating healthy, I was drinking water, I was doing usually what they recommend of doing, and it was not clearing up my face. So I came across using beef tallow as a moisturizer for your face. And I started using it about 2 months ago. I was skeptical, a little disgusted to think that I was gonna put animal fat on my face, but it's been worth it. To go from this to this, like,
it seems like people are finally seeing through the lies the entire establishment has been feeding us. From big food to big pharma to big skincare. And the great thing is, if you spent your entire life rubbing toxic chemicals onto your skin, the moment you switch to rubbing all natural beef tallow onto your skin, you're instantly gonna see a major difference. But here's the thing, not all tallow is created equal. If you use tallow from grain-fed factory farms on your skin, it's not gonna be as good for you. You wanna stick to grass-fed and grass-finished tallow. This means that the cow has been fed grass their entire life. There are two types of tallow, suet tallow and regular tallow. Suet tallow is fat rendered from around the cow's kidneys, while regular tallow is rendered from all the parts of the animal, including regular muscle fat. Ideally, you want to stick with suet tallow because it's more concentrated and has a better texture that feels smoother to spread on your skin. And lastly, you want to make sure the tallow you get is made in the USA. A lot of cheap tallow balms you see on the market are usually made in China, so who knows where they're sourcing their tallow from? And the cheap ones are usually heavily diluted with fillers to make it cheaper. So you're kinda ruining the point of using tallow by getting one of these super cheap balms. And that's why we decided to make our Evil Goods Whipped Tallow Honey Balm. It's made in America with pure, organic, grass-fed and finished beef tallow from American cows. It's got organic, cold-pressed olive oil from California, Manuka honey from New Zealand, one of the most powerful honeys in the world with incredible healing powers, and pot marigold flower extract, another flower that has been used in skincare for centuries. And every single day, we're getting messages from people about how much it's cleared up their skin and made them feel more confident. And we just launched a new citrus scent, and people have been saying it's their favorite. And you can buy a jar for yourself right now by scrolling down and clicking on the link below. Think about how much money you spend every year on face cream, body lotion, eye cream, lip balm, and even hair conditioner. One jar of tallow balm can replace all of that with zero chemicals, endocrine disruptors, or toxins. Just pure, clean fat that our ancestors have been using on their skin for centuries. Click on the card on the screen or click the link below to buy a glass jar of our whipped tallow honey balm now.